You play a match of Brawl Stars, you lose, and you repeat. But you don't know why. Well, lucky for you, I'm going to teach you the 10 most common mistakes Brawl Stars players make and how you can fix them. You will be winning 10 times more matches after this video, and if you're not, then you're not either fixing your mistakes or your randoms are just horrible. If you make less than 3 of these mistakes, then you are considered a professional Brawl Stars player. Now let's go right into number 10, which is ignoring the map and not knowing what brawlers to play. If you are going right into a ranked match and you do not look at what map you're on, or don't just have it memorized by the name, you are seriously hurting your team. You can't just play someone like Piper on a map that has a ton of walls. At the same time, you can't play Tick on a map like out in the open. If you do this, I promise you, you are the bad random, because you are just picking a horrible brawler, and the moment your teammates see it, they just shake their head and groan. But at the same time, if the map does have a lot of walls, you might be picking a brawler like Barley, who is just not amazing in the meta right now. To be a really good Brawl Stars player, you have to keep up with the meta, or else you will fall behind and not know what brawlers to pick. Not long ago, I took a break from the game and I had no idea who was good. So I just went over to Ash Brawl Stars' Instagram and just looked at the balance changes and who's meta right now. You should do the same. Shout out Ash BS. Go check him out on any social media and he will let you know what brawlers are good and what are bad right now. So make sure you know who's good and make sure you know what map you are playing on. Now jumping right into number 9, and I was a victim of this one for so long, is chasing kills instead of objectives. A good example of this is on Gem Grab. You have 10 gems and you just rush and try to get kills. What happens? You die. You get frustrated and the next 5 games are horrible. By the way, if you want to find out what the worst thing you could possibly do in a Brawl Stars match is, make sure you stick around until the end to find out. And not only you are mad if you lose all these gems, your teammates are mad at you too. Because you don't realize that you need to stay back and focus more on the objective instead of trying to get good stats. Because at the end of the day, your teammates aren't going to give you a like if you went 0-5 if you won. They're more likely to give you a like if you went 0-5 and you lost. So sometimes stats aren't as important. You need to focus on the objective. Now don't get me wrong, kills are great, especially in game modes like Knockout, Showdown, and Bounty. Kills are what win you those games, but you do have to sometimes focus on the objective and don't always just rush and die. Now there are some times where you can just go rush. For example, if it's a 3v2 and you are playing an assassin, then you should go rush and try to get more kills to give your team an advantage. But if you're playing a brawler who's a support, you should not be rushing, just staying back and playing your role on the team. Understand there are right times to rush and there are right times to stay back. If you want to learn more about this, I have it pinned up above. It's my video on Do Kills Matter, and yes, there is a right answer, and it might not be yes. So right after this video, make sure you go check that one out. Now number 8, I know you're going to hear this one and it's going to make you mad. It is auto-aiming everything, because we've all had that random who does not hit a shot for the life of them. Auto-aim does not predict movement. It will just fire right where the enemy is, and if they're moving and more than a foot away from you, it will not hit them. So please do not auto-aim. Predict where they're going to go, and sometimes it is hard. You don't have to hit every single shot, but predict where the enemy is going to go and try to hit there. Again, there are times to auto-aim, like if someone's close to you, you know you're about to die to poison, so you kind of just spam all your shots, or you're just playing a super short range brawler like Edgar or Buzz. At number 7, we have wasting your gadgets and supers. Gadgets and supers are so much different than normal shots because you only have a little amount of them. They don't come by as easily and as quickly as just normal shots do. For that reason, you have to time them right and use them efficiently, or else you are not doing your team any good. You need to focus on using them smartly. For example, Edgar's charging super gadget, you don't want to use that when you have 3/4 of a super because you're just going to get that instantly. You probably don't want to use a max super in a 3v3 if it only helps you. You also don't want to use a Poco or a Byron super if it's not going to heal anyone except you. There's so many other cases like this one where you have to think about how you can benefit your team and use it smartly. There are times where supers will kind of be wasted. For example, if Piper needs to get out of an area, her bombs might not do any damage, but at least she's keeping herself alive. Just really have to realize that your super and your gadgets have a lot of value, so you have to use them smartly. But that doesn't mean that you can just not use them the whole match and wait for the perfect moment. Because just like life, if you wait for the perfect moment, you will miss out on a lot of great opportunities. Use them when the time is right, but don't wait for the perfect time. You shouldn't have charged your whole hypercharge without supering yet, unless you really didn't have a perfect time to do so. You should usually be focusing on aiming for 2 supers per hypercharge for most brawlers. Just be cautious with that and make sure you're not just holding your supers and gadgets forever, because they do come back and they are meant to be used more than once or twice a game. At number 6, and this one kind of goes with the previous one, is ignoring team synergy. And what I mean by this is you recognize that both of your teammates might have picked a thrower and you go ahead and decide to pick a thrower too. You need to realize that you can't all pick the same trait brawler, because that will sell your team. If it didn't sell your team, there probably wouldn't be as many traits as there are now. But there's so many different roles brawlers have, and you need to recognize that they have roles for a reason. They make matches unique and fun because there are so many different outcomes to matches. So if your teammates are playing a tank and an assassin, you should probably play a support or a healer just to help them. Just recognize that you shouldn't be playing similar trait brawlers, or else it will not help your team at all. 3 brawlers in a 3v3 match should be different puzzle pieces that come together and form one puzzle, and that puzzle should defeat the other team. Now with that, during the match, you can't only focus on yourself if you're playing a brawler like a support, or just anyone in general, especially if you're playing a support, because you need to be helping your team. Recognize where your teammates are, recognize where you need to be, and then get there. Usually if you're playing the typical tank, assassin, support, the tank and the assassin should be up like a triangle, and the support should be behind them in the middle. So it's like an upside down triangle, like seen up above. You gotta realize that there is certain positioning to what role you're playing, and you gotta get in that positioning to properly help your team. While we're on the topic of positioning, let's move into number 5, which is bad positioning. You're playing someone like Edgar, and you're just out in the middle of nowhere just to be able to be hit by everyone. You should not be doing this. Maps have walls for a reason, and there are also different maps for a reason, so you can pick different brawlers on each map. If you're Piper, you have one of the longest ranges in the game. You should be keeping enemies at the max range, so not only you can get that damage buff, but you can also have it so they can't hit you back. Now if you are in a position where they are playing a Piper and you're playing someone like Rico, you can use walls to your advantage. You can peek out, get a shot in, and then right before their shot hits you, you just get right behind a wall again. Walls are there for a reason, and the only brawlers that can use walls to their advantage are throwers. So if you're up against someone who isn't a thrower, you can use these walls so that you don't get hit. Now, if your teammates are dead, you should not be rushing either, because you have a heavy disadvantage, because it's probably a 1v3 if they're both dead. You can't just rush. You gotta hold off, play the distance like I said with Piper, and slow down gameplay and wait for your teammates to get back. You need to hold off the enemies for as long as possible by either chipping damage to make them scared of you, or just kind of falling back but keeping possession in whatever game mode you're playing. Control brawlers are really good at this, because they are literally built to control the game and slow it down or speed it up. Now, at number 4, we have not tracking enemy supers and gadgets. We have all witnessed this before. Supers and gadgets are sometimes the difference between winning and losing a game. And half of this reason is because enemies don't recognize that you have your super, so when you use it, they are not ready for it. Got to be ready for the super. If you don't know this, you can see the circle around the brawler when their super's ready. And also, if they've used their gadget and they don't have it ready, it'll be gray below their player. You need to focus on who has their super, how it benefits their team, and how you can properly defend it without dying. Don't let low damage brawlers chip for their super, because they're low damage because they rely on their supers and gadgets. If you just let them chip for your super and think, oh, it's fine, I'm barely taking any damage, it's not, because they are charging their super and they will attack you heavy. Make sure you track these supers and you will become a way better player. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you guys like and subscribe. It really helps out, and drop a comment on which of these tips you think most helped you. Moving into the biggest 3 mistakes that Brawl Stars players make, coming in at number 3, we have playing every single game mode the same. What I mean by this is kind of similar to the focusing on kills thing, where you just focused on kills every single game mode. This will not work, but at the same time, if you're playing scared every game mode, it's also not going to work. You have to realize that you can't just play the same every single game mode. I've been a victim to this in many times in the past. If you play every game mode the same, you will lose most game modes. Knockout, Bounty, and Wipeout are mainly for kills and trying to survive. Hot Zone, Gem Grab, and Brawl Ball are all game modes where you need to be focusing on control and playing smart. So you just gotta realize that each of these game modes have different ways you need to play. Those are just general ways of how to play each game. But there are specific ways of playing each game more than just that. For example, you should have one person having all the gems in Gem Grab, because if they are split up among multiple teammates, then if one person dies with the gems, it will just cancel the counter and not help your team at all. One person has all the gems, it's okay if one of the other 2 people dies, because it does not affect the counter and they were doing it just to slow down the other team. Different game modes require different brawlers and tactics, and you have to recognize and learn each of the game modes and brawlers. Coming in at number 2, we have losing composure and ending up tilting. We've all been there before where you lose a game, get a little angry, play a little more aggressive, rinse and repeat, and soon you're down 8 games. Do not let yourself get so angry to where you're losing every single game. Just take a break if you are losing a lot of games. Brawl Stars is only half mechanics and the other half is mindset. Sometimes the skill issue will end up making you have a bad mindset and you just become even worse, which is not what your randoms need. But at the same time, it's not always your random's fault either. You gotta realize that sometimes it is your fault. Focus on keeping your composure and recognize that you tilt when you're mad. It's the same in sports. If you've ever played a sport before and you get angry, you will make super dumb mistakes. It's the same thing with Brawl Stars. Now, at our number 1 spot, and 99% of players make this mistake, is not reviewing your mistakes and not adapting to them. Everyone can just play a game, but very few can actually learn from it, and I'm gonna teach you how. Watch the pros, watch people like me, and watch your replays. Recognize what wins games and why the pros are winning games, and learn from that. People who recognize patterns and critically think are the ones who can make it pro with ease. I'm telling you, recognize these patterns, learn what makes a good Brawl Stars player, and become that player. Let me know how many of these mistakes you made down below. If you want to be a better Brawl Stars player, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. By the way, my first super thanks in the comments will get a shout out on my channel. If you want to become famous, make sure you give me a little super thanks. I'd really appreciate it. Also, make sure you check out one of the videos above. I'll see you guys.